Hey, what's up? I'm Al Cox. I play games, make games, and everything in between. And today we're going to be taking a look at Buildbox Smart Asset Float. How does it work, and what's the best way to use it in your game? Come follow along because you need to watch this. Before I get started, don't forget to like it and subscribe by hitting that little bell because I put out content all the time when it comes to making and playing games, and I am here to help. Alright, so here's the float asset. Let's go ahead and grab it. Looks pretty cool. There is a template that has this exact gameplay, but I want to start out in a default world so that you can get an inside look at smart asset. Here, float equals debris, and there's nothing here. As you can see, it's just a cube. I've actually notified the Buildbox team about this because this is not supposed to be here. This is a good insight into a lot of the ins and outs of Buildbox. Some things are just incomplete. Some things don't work the way they should. And if you're learning Buildbox, it's best to learn this right away because there's a cube here. You can't do anything with it. So let's just go ahead and jump into the float template. Here's the float template, and you can see the character moving up and down. This is the way it's supposed to work. Very cool. Here you can even see a float node. All the green nodes are movement nodes. Anytime you see a green node, look in the movement, it's probably there. The purple nodes I find to be custom nodes. The cool thing about nodes is you can go in, copy, and paste them into any other asset and use them however you like. That's a really cool thing that Buildbox makes available. Here we have the start, the character that is set to kinematic. Always pay attention to static, dynamic, or kinematic. Be sure to select specific affected assets when possible. However, this is the main character, so we're gonna want it to collision with all the assets. The main reason you want to be careful with the affected asset is if you set all assets to affect all assets and you have hundreds of assets in your game, well then your processing power is gonna be shot and very poor. Most of the time, certain assets only need to be static, kinematic, and even then you can have an object be a static object unless it collides into the character, and then set that object to an if collide and be dynamic or kinematic. To do something like that, you would just need to have if collide, set physics. So here, let's say this was static, if collide with character, change physics to dynamic. Something like this will help your processing power. Here, just like that. Doesn't really work in this case, but I'm going to show you cool little tricks all along the way as we go deeper into Buildbox. Here we got multiple 3D models. This mesh is of course the ball behind the character. This is the triangle of the character, and then we have a trail, which is just a simple image. Again, all these can be copied and pasted onto different objects. Next, we have the move. So here, once the character is loaded onto the screen, this node causes it to move in the X direction at the speed of 10. Instantly, nothing has to happen. This is already happening. Next, we got the touch node. This means that when you touch the screen, something will happen to the character. Here we can see that automatically the float node is enabled at the very start of the scene. When you press the screen, it will cause the character to move up. We can look here, there's upward force, a downward force, a rotation force, and an acceleration force. I'm pretty sure this node is supposed to be in the smart asset float node. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, it's there because I have notified support. And the cool thing here is you can adjust all of these accordingly. So if I'm playing this game and I don't like the speed of this, I want to move it to 2.9 and a rotation of 60, well, I can do that. Whoa, okay, so maybe a rotation force of 60 is too much because it looks like it, yeah. You know what, let's go in and let's make some adjustments to the game because Buildbox is easy enough. You can just move objects around and create a completely different feel. Let's move these more up and down, change the size of this. A good trick here is also to review the camera angle, go back and forth so that you can make sure you see what the player will see. And I want the bottom to be kind of like this. Let's see, that looks good. You can literally just make the changes here. Sometimes I forget that. Here, as you can see, I can't touch that top green arrow, so I need to go out. Let me move it down actually, and now I can move it up. And I want it like this, yeah, something like that, and then just grab this, and we can make this bigger as well. I'm gonna take stock and notice the Y value is at 10, and here we'll just change the Y value to 4, keep it easy, and then we're gonna go here, make this, what was it, 10 or 4? It was 4. No, it was 10. No, it was 4. Oh, and that's great. So all of these have already been adjusted. Now the next thing I want to do is let's remove this because we want the gameplay to be easier than it is right now. And I'm just gonna actually stick to 2 scenes. Now I'm gonna adjust the scale. Let's get out of this camera mode because moving around in the camera mode is dangerous. There is no Control Z to get back to the movement you were at. We go here, adjust the scale of this object, but I don't want the object to be adjusted in the current XY scale of the game. I want it to be adjusted in the XYZ scale of the object. And to do that, you just hit this button over here, and you can see I can make adjustments like this now. That works a little bit more with what I'm looking for. And honestly, I think I'm gonna have to try to make something like this. Okay, and then let's do that for this one as well. Change that angle. Oops, wrong angle. Another wrong angle. Where is the red angle? I can't, oh, there it is. Nope, that's not the right angle. Okay, so I'm actually having difficulty moving this to the angle that I would like. I want like this, there we go. And because this is 3D, sometimes you just need to move around the world. Actually, I'm just gonna delete these and I'm gonna copy and paste these 2, put them here, and just kind of flip the whole thing. So let's go in. We have high angles. It's interesting because I'm looking at the start scene. I noticed that this obstacle is at Y10, and then I go here and this obstacle is also at Y10. But when you play the game, you can clearly see that they are at different angles. The way my character moves, I think I need to focus on that because it's not looking good. Let's change it to 1.9 and go back to the 45-degree angle. The 45-degree angle makes sense. Oops. And let's see what happens if we add an acceleration of 1. The cool stuff about this is you can play around. You can see how this is almost like a more difficult 3D side angle of Flappy Bird. You know, play around with the numbers. You don't have to code here. You're using a no-code software. You have to do a lot of trial and error and see what works best for what you're going for. Down here we have the if collide, enemy is defeated, cube explodes, animation happens. The defeat goes to a delay node, which then goes to a game over node. I hope this was insightful. Play around with the float smart asset, and honestly, play around with all the smart assets. Once you understand how the smart assets work by the individual nodes that make it up, you just compound your knowledge when it comes to the node code, the nodes, the assets, and you'll be able to build out your game with more functionality than you had before. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell. If there's anything you want to see in Buildbox 3, please let me know because I'm always trying to learn and get better. And I will see you next time.